Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And move to the news, and today is Friday, August 6th, and you can see there's a lot of red on the charts here. 7:15, which was about 15 minutes ago, British news. Then 8:30, we have Canadian unemployment change, U.S. average hourly earnings rate, non-farm payroll, unemployment rates. So 7:30 to I'm saying pretty much till 9 o'clock. We just may want to just kind of keep it real tight and real careful because these things can move the market, especially with the Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar. Remember, the Canadian dollar is pretty much geared towards the oil. If you trade futures, oil futures, be aware of that. And so today's a good day to just, like we said, it's a good day for question and answers. If you have any questions, any things that are on your mind, any things that are not quite clear, today's a great day, and we will take this time today to answer those questions.
Something just hit my funny bone.
Oh, already?
Our pastor was speaking the other day, and he said something to the effect that we have questions to your answers. He meant to say we have answers for your questions. Here in the Hawkeye room, we have questions to your answers.
Your tagline.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It just hit my funny bone again. Where my vice principal, I met him for the first time yesterday when I went to the school, and he says, "Are you always this happy?" I said, "Yeah, pretty much."
Because I hate being unhappy people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What are you a teacher for? Yeah.
Well, you can see what or Hercules, what's hot, what's not. You can see the U.S. dollar and the euro are extremes. You got the U.S. strength, euro weakness on all four quadrants. So I would say if you're going to be doing anything right now, which I would caution you to do, be looking at the euro and the U.S. So let's take a look at that one. We have a euro CAD here. Now, I just drew this out just as we were waiting for this session to start out. And I was looking at, we had a nice move down on the euro CAD. But what really caught my eye with this one was that you can see that this thing was trending all the way down for the last couple of days. Now, you remember, these are the blue lines. These are our day breaks. So if I look back at yesterday's range, it was all the way from up here, pretty much this little pivot right here, all the way down to here. And you can see it was trending down. Go back the day before, you can see we had a high, a low. We had a lower high, lower low for the next day. But all the way back over in this area, you can see this little pivot right here. And if you look and see, and that is right, you can see this is right at one of my 5-minute red lines. And you can see that it was so it was respecting this 5-minute red line right here with this. Look back and you can see if I go back to on a 1-hour chart, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, where that was the lowest hit, but you can see where this little area, right, this little zone right here, right below, here's where my 15-minute blue line is, right here at where I put my fib line. This is the 25% overshoot. It actually went a little bit further than that, but you can see it went right to that red fib line and stopped. As I go back over to my charts, you can see where I drew this out. I drew what I expected this thing to happen is that I expected to, and I do this before this big red candle. I said, okay, I think it's going to, if it breaks this yellow line, it's going to come right down here and turn around. When it got down to that line, I took it was a contra trend trade. This was a little kind of probably a little bit out of character for me to do it, but I knew that this this yellow line was hit 3 times. And I knew that if it broke, it's probably going to bounce right off of this extreme, which it did. Came back up, retested the yellow line. Actually, there's a little green line right here. So I actually went from here to here, got in down here, took my quick profit, came back. Now it hit the B, which is actually, if you look at that's basically, I just marked that this be, I just pretty much marked it halfway between this green line and the red line. So I just put it halfway target. So that's pretty much right where it came down using this little, and now it's coming on up to retest these moving averages. I would not take this thing long, other than for a really quick in and out scalp off of a bounce. But right now, as Brian was saying, that he's looking at, he took a position short here. He's going to take another position short here. That's a swing trade or a longer term day trade. But I would not be surprised to see it come on up to where my C level is. There again, you can see where I'm using these key points as my targets and my get out points. And these are like this these are 7 pip areas between here from the 5-minute line to my 1 minute target, my fib line on target. These are all about 7 pips, 14 pips, 21 pips. It would not surprise me to see it come up to this blue line. It could, but I would not be surprised to see it just turn right around in this little area right here. So that's how I played that. But you don't want to be taking this thing long for very far. You don't want to be saying, now this could be a nice little turnaround point. It did it before. If you look back over on the 5-minute chart, on the 1 hour chart, you can see several days ago, it hit it here. Come back over here, it challenged it here, rejected, challenged it here, rejected. And I'm looking at it may challenge it here and also may reject it again. And then this would be I'm gonna mark so this is the range where it's really going sideways, right around at this point right there. So between these 2 yellow lines, that's pretty much where the sideways range is. And that's what we're trying to do here in Hawkeye, is we try to find out where it's going sideways within a reasonable range. And I usually like 50, 60 pip range. And then find that range where it's going sideways and then try and wait for it to get down here at the bottom and then wait for it to start trending to get to the top quadrant. But right now this is the bigger range, and this is from the whole week. Today's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, here Sunday night. So you can see this is the weekly range where it's at, and right now it's right at the bottom where it started for the week. So it started the week low, went up high, came back down. Now it's retesting this area right now. And we'll wait and see what happens when the report comes out. The dollar is going to be affected by that non-farm payroll, and we'll just see what it's going to do. But I'm going to be out of everything on this point. I'm not going to be playing around with this during that report. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything to add to any of that?
Oh, good here.
Good. All right.
Good group so far.
Okay, so let's go to the Euro US because that's what was hot and what was not. So I'm going to let's do this one here. Euro USD. And we'll see, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis on that as well. Here's my chart. You can see it, nice move down. The euro is strong. Excuse me, the euro is the weaker one of the two. The US is the second currency of the pair. And if that's strong, we're looking strength to the downside. I'm going to close up my chart. And you can see here, I'm on a 15-minute chart right now. And you can see that the dollar is strong to the euro, but it's not as strong as it was earlier. It's given up a little bit of strength. I'm just going to go and see where it's been for the week. Since today's Friday, I'm just going to go see if I can get a couple of days range here. So again, this was the first was Sunday night. This was Sunday right here. So the weekly range on this is from here. There's the high for this week. There's actually had a little bit of a high last week. This was on the 30th. That was Friday. Yeah, that's Friday's. Did make a high on Friday. Here's the pivot low. This is the range for the week. Well, let's see. It's actually making some new lows. Yeah. New lows for the week, but it has we're going to be referencing this one right over here. Now I'm not usually. I just want you to see this is the area where it's going sideways. Right now, it's coming in from the range for the week, from last week's. And actually, this was actually the week before low. So this is really the range where. This is the range that's got my attention. This is the lower 25% area right in here. And then we're going to see how, another oops. Let's lock this in. Another oops. So here's the lower 25. So from this pivot low, this is back in July 23rd. So that's basically almost 2 weeks data right now, but it's inside a 2-week range. This is the upper 25% up here. And so you don't need anything fancy to do this, but this way it identifies your zones. You can see how it was hit. This came up in here, rejected, came up, rejected, came up, rejected stronger. So we know that if we want to, if we we're going to be looking like a swing trade, we'd be looking at selling up here and we'd be looking at buying down here. So right now it's got a little ways to go to this, which is 1790 area. But you're also going to see right here at the 1790, here's our 15-minute blue line right in here. So this is going to be a critical, this little zone right in here is going to be critical. If I can draw that out. What I do like doing is I like seeing where the overall pivot ranges are and then see where my Fibonacci's fall in between that, because those are usually the points where you can start seeing prices start to turn. It's like taking the best of both worlds with the, that way you know where the overall pit, because you can see it right now. You can see that this is the lower 25. Here's our green line. Here's our extension. These are 25%-ish. It's actually 23.6, but we're just going to call it 25. So this is our playground. This is the playground where this thing's sitting in. And we're going to be trying to be buyers down here and be sellers up there. But we're going to wait till it comes down and see where it hits some of these critical lines. Now, remember, this was a 15-minute blue line right here, right below this. So basically, when it comes into this area, and this is about the low that it come over here, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But look at this little wick right here. This is the point. This is where the sellers lost control. The buyers took over right in this area right there. No, I don't want that one. I want the yellow one. So this little wick is important right there. So if it comes down, it's gonna break. I can expect a little bit of an overshoot of this blue line. Now the fact this one already came down and tested, the buyers are going to be right below this line into this the blue fib line. Or actually, this is our line for our where the pivot was. So basically, buyers took over, sellers came back in, brought it down to this line. And you can see this little point right here is just about this. Well, it is basically it's less than a spread apart from here. So here was a hit, here was a hit. This little zone is retest. So I'm going to be looking at this area right in here. Oops, whoops. A very highly technical term.
Yes, oops.
That goes along with our squish and squash. Yeah,
it goes right with the squish and
We don't
squash.
like the word whoops. We really don't.
You don't like oops?
No, because it signifies there's something afoot that shouldn't be.
There you go. This is and this is what I'm going to call the retest area. Even though it's in the lower 25%, this is a retest. So if it comes down into this area, I'm going to be a buyer, and I'm going to have a very tight stop, and then look and see if we can maybe catch it to go retrace back up into these are our target zones. Remember, these are the target zones that were created on this up move, and now we're looking to see if it's going to come down, comes down into the zone, breaks, comes down to this zone, breaks, comes down. Now it's coming down into the lower 25%. So this is going to be our retest. And basically what you're doing is always thinking, what are the institutions? What are the market makers? Where did they take control? And you have to look over to the left of the chart, see where did it take control? It started here, nice push up, came back, retest. This is our wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and on up to wave 5, 6, and whatever else is going on to. But again, if you do the Elliott wave situation, just looking over here, if I draw a stick from this point, now this is, and I haven't measured this out yet, but let's just see how this works. If this was an Elliott wave formation, here's wave 1, this would be wave 2. Remember, wave 3s cannot be shorter than wave 1. So let's see if it is. So if I take it down here, and you can see that this exceeded the length of this wave 1. So this would be, so as we count them off, Here's wave 1. Here's wave 2. And remember, wave 2 cannot go lower than the 0 point there. Wave 3 is if it's an Elliott wave formation, wave 3 has got to be longer than wave the 0 to 1. Comes back to wave 3. Here's wave 4. And then it comes on up to wave 5. Wave 5 does not have to be longer than wave 3, but it can be. It could be shorter than wave 3. That's not a criteria. And you see right where it came right up to our. There's probably a blue line up here someplace. There's a red line right here. This is our marker right there. So you can see how this is how the Elliott waves. So right now I'm looking for the same type of formation over here. If I slide this on over, I'm going to see it make its pivot low, come up, retest the 0 line, and then start making its way up to our upper 25% zone. So this is kind of what I'm looking at for this. But right now, with the euro being weak, the dollar being strong, that means it's going down. I'm going to be looking at seeing some sort of a bounce off of this area right in this area right here. And we do know that the price got all the way down to the low of the, what's the price on that? That's 1773. It could very well break a little bit lower because the buyers came in, but it may be waiting a little bit lower. So this retest zone is going to be critical. But if it gets down to that zone, I'll be taking a shot at taking it long. And if I'm wrong, then I just have a very small loss. If I'm right, I've got a nice little run to the upside. Okay? Any questions about that?
Sounds good, man.
In here.
And that's my analysis of the Euro USD.
And where's your favorite line? And that's all I
That's
have
all
to
I have
say
to
about
say. And that's all I have to say about that.
You're going to go down as one of the quotes of history, Al. You know how we quote Warren Buffett now? We're going to be quoting you.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, help us.
Poor Al.
And you guys, any questions? Anybody have anything that they want to take a look at while we're waiting around for this report? Like I said, I am not taking any trades. So let's take a look at the German 30. That was one of those things that was kind of fun yesterday.
Just like we talked about last night, it doesn't matter what asset class you're trading. You just have to know the personality of that particular piece.
Yeah, sorry, you have to know which? I didn't understand what you said.
I said it doesn't matter which asset class you're trading. We mentioned it last night in last night's session. It's just that you have to understand the particulars of that individual piece.
Oh, okay.
So like gold, you'd go from $5 to $10 or whatever you do. They all have personalities. But as far as the strategy of finding your curve analysis or playground, finding your price points, that all doesn't change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. No,
a chart is a chart.
Yeah, and I kind of marked off these little the 5 period fib lines just for your clarity. I don't really need to do that. I just needed to so that you can see them a little bit better and see how they're spaced and see how the price acts in between these areas. Now this was the upper 25. You can see where this was the upper 25%. This right at a 15-minute line. See how it just wicked right up there, but still respected the green one. And so right now, see how it came down to the blue line and is respected the green one. Remember, this 15-minute line is the blue on the. This 15-minute is going to be blue on the 5-minute and also on the 1-minute charts. And let's see. So we basically have a lot of. Here's our upper 25%. You see it wicked up just enough to take it out of there. Respect to the next 5-minute green line. Here's the lower 25%. So again, it's right now, it's at the very top of our playground. So if I were to be looking at this, I'd be finding a place where it's going to start coming out of this area and start making these targets down below. Remember, when we took this trade yesterday, this was the breakout. It came out. Ava got in. She got out. A nice little pullback. Gave her another opportunity to get in. Got out, and strong pull back down, but it came right down to none other than the 5-minute fib lines. And so you're looking at the price on this is at 15,720. You're looking at a $3 move. It only came down $3 below that red line before it got rejected. If you want me, I can clean this all up and start drawing this thing again if that would be helpful. I don't know if it's looking too cluttered or not. Is it looking too cluttered to everybody? Give me some feedback on that.
Semi.
When we're on
Sorry.
when we go on the 1 hour, 1 minute chart, which is the chart that I usually take the trades off, it doesn't look quite so bad. It just gives you those nice little target zones.
Yeah,
And like I said on the DAX, these are, let's see, 15,751 to 37. So basically, these are.
Daniela, what do you mean by can you clear, please? If you can expand on clear out, you mean his chart, or what are you talking about?
Or just leave us.
Do you want him to zoom out?
Well, you want me to erase everything and start over again?
This is like a really bad game of what's that game that used to have?
20 questions. 20 questions.
I'm wondering if she means, hey, Al, could you leave, please? Just leave.
Yeah.
2 syllables. Clear off what? Okay.
Yeah, it's not getting better.
Word,
Yeah. We need some more words.
Yes, use the word.
We do have the capability of turning the mic on, if that would help.
I think we could possibly do that too. That's great.
Sounds like 2 words, first word, 3rd syllable. Charades, that's what it is, charades. Did you want Al to clear off his chart?
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for you to get it together. Then we'll
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to clear my chart up, but I don't want to do it unless that's what's being requested here. So, but anyway, so right now the German 30, I'd look in this as being, I'm looking for maybe getting into this thing short. And it did reach its a nice high over here. If you look at the higher time frames, if I go over to, let's go to my 1 hour chart and see where we're at. See, there's really nothing over here for there. Let's see. Let's go to let's see where the overall, I think this is starting to retest the ultimate high. So right here is the all-time high of the DAX 30. You can see we're kind of getting up into this upper zone. Here's the nice here's the, let's see, is that that's pretty much the extent of where our range is. So this point right here is going to be critical. I say it could go up a little bit higher, but if it starts making new highs, then you just don't want to try and catch it as it's just, if it's making new highs, don't try and pick the high. Just wait for it to get done making that high and start making it, look for that Elliott wave pattern where you get that pullback where it doesn't hit the top. Now, right now, this is in a really large sense, this is you have a nice trend going from, we have let's see where we got here. Here's where the high was.
Daniela was saying, Al just said he can clear out the markings if it makes it better. So that's what she was saying. Please clear the markings to make it better on DAX.
Okay, so I'm going to just take everything off right here. There we go. You can see where I've been in and out of this trade several times here on different levels. But okay, so I'm on a daily chart, but so this is the all-time high right in here. These are so we want to mark that, make sure we know where it is, because if that's where the high was and was rejected, especially was hit twice, this was another little, this one was just a tiny little bit higher than this one over here. I'm on a daily chart now, so keep that in mind. Now we're just doing some basic chart analysis while we're waiting for this non-farm payroll report coming through. We're not going to be in a hurry to take anything today. So here was the high right there, and you can see this little wick right here did break up a little bit higher than this wick, but it couldn't close above that. This candle did, but we had a nice little rejection of this area. So I'm going to move this over to where the all-time high is. So I have that for a reference. And you can see that's right by one of my red fib zones right in here. This would be a 15-minute red line. So that's going to be a critical point as well. And that's just the price on the number line. That has nothing to do with the price action. It's just the price that the brokers that the market makers are looking at for a turnaround point or a target point or That's one of their little, that's kind of what I call the institutional numbers. So we marked our high. Now we're going to come down to a reasonable level that we usually look at is our 15-minute chart. And we're going to see if we can find an area where it's been trading. Now you can see it's been making higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher. I like this little range right here. This is a nice little push up. This is a nice little push candle. Here's the retracement. And now it's starting to flatten out a little bit over here. And right, remember, our all-time high is right up in this area. So it still has some room to go from the 15,814 to roughly the 15,779. So that's 20, 30, about $35 worth of move right there. But here, gradual move up, strong rejection of this low point right here. So this is a key one. So I'm going to mark that. Here's our 15-minute green. And looking to see where the nice little bounce was. So I like this. So right now this is all yesterday's action. This was the action the day before. And you can see it's making every day this week pretty much it's been making higher highs and then higher lows since, was that Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, about Tuesday is where it looked. So for the week, this is our playground for the week right now. From here to here. Let's draw our fibs.
Actually, guys, I'm right in the middle of a crypto trade that's triggered, and it's just about ready to take profit.
You want to share your screen there, Eva?
It's going to be gone. There, did you hear that?
I heard the cha-ching.
Yeah.
In and out already?
Yeah. So next time I have a setup, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing, Dozer.
Which crypto was that?
Sorry, Al, what'd you say?
Which crypto was that?
This one was XRP. I actually have one set for Ether as well right now, Ethereum. And it's in the trade. I can share that one.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you take it over while we're sitting here?
Don't we have, when you deal with cryptos in daytime, isn't the spreads greater?
You know what? The spreads aren't awful right now. Let's put it that way.
You just have to take it case by case then, I guess.
You have to look at it as you're going. So this is Ethereum. So I set this one up, and this is basically using the same strategy that I used for indices with the MMAs. I found that this seems to be working quite well with crypto as well. So yesterday I did a few different ones, and I can't tell you my percentages, but let's just say it was double digits. So
past performance is no indication of future results. There you go. There's your disclaimer.
Exactly. So, but it could have been luck. I don't know, but it seems to be working. So this one here now, I'm just waiting for it. And what I'm finding with crypto though, is that it will kind of do this kind of thing. And then all of a sudden when it decides to go, it's going to go. So for me, as long as I'm seeing the MMAs all pointing in the direction I want them to be, I'm in a happy place with that. I can show you the XRP. This was the candle that got me in and took me out. And you see it went way down. I think I collected my profits around this area here. But I'm being careful with my lot sizes and everything. Like this one here, for example, I've got it set to take an $82 profit. I mean, the hit says $194, but that's only because I have it way above this line here. So we'll see if my philosophy is that if it triggers, if it goes below the zero and it's closed below the zero as it has here on this red candle, and then all of a sudden it starts going up, I'll get out of it. I won't wait for it to hit my stop.
Do you find that there's a particular point of the day with crypto that may be more successful? So, like for me, starting Monday, I won't be in the morning sessions except for maybe watching. You won't hear me, but I got my computer set up at school to watch. But can cryptos be also? Is there enough volume in the evening?
Yeah, I've found with crypto that it doesn't have like set times, like with the market, like with Forex and our indices, there it goes, it's getting close to the take profit. With the indices, it seems like in the mornings is good, especially from 9:30. There we go. There, that's what it does. It just all of a sudden when it goes, it goes. So with the indices and the Forex, around 11 o'clock or so, 11:30 latest, it starts to slow down until the afternoon. But with crypto, I don't find any one time where it's faster or slower. At least I haven't noticed yet.
Okay.
To be quite honest with you, you can trade it on the weekends, which is what
That's a
my
key for me.
class is going to be, is on the weekend. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best time on the weekend, but I haven't really noticed a difference there either just yet. So yeah, it's just what the market gives you. And again, I do the exact same thing. I just go through and I see, okay, there's my MMAs, and this guy's going to town down here. And then the same idea, I just draw from the high point over the 34 MMA to the low point, and then I wait. Now this isn't finished moving yet, then I wait for the drawback or the pullback, sorry. And then I set my target to trigger below the zero.
Okay, you have homework this weekend.
I have homework.
Yeah, your homework will be to put that trade plan into a written format so I can put it into our overall strategies for Hawkeye, for those who are Hawkeye attendees.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be around much this weekend.
That is not an excuse.
I know
you will be
giving me a project to do.
It's almost like her dog ate her homework.
Right. I don't want to hear excuses about homework. I'm going to be doing that all year long. Don't let it start with the adults.
Yeah, no.
Whenever you can, even just put something in writing. And what I always tell everybody when they're doing their trade plan, pretend that you're trying to explain it to a fourth grader. Because no matter what level of trader you are, if you can explain it to a fourth grader, then you understand it. And that way, when I transpose it into our document, it'll be a very clear, concise presentation and basic.
Yeah.
Eva?
Yeah.
Eva?
Good.
Yeah.
Diane has a question. What MMAs do you use?
The same as Al. I use 5, 13, 34, 62, and 200. I think we all use the same MMAs, don't we, in Hawkeye?
Yeah, I don't use a 200 anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, the 200 I think is good for scalping. Wouldn't you agree, Al? Like, it's good to know where it is in the big scheme of things.
I really don't use the 200 either. I find out that the 5 and 13 are the two that I really focus on.
Okay.
And then I look for the bounce off that 34 or the 62. But for the most part, for direction, I'm usually looking at that 5 and 13 being in the right direction.
I like the 200. I really do. I mean, I want to see when it's doing this kind of stuff. Like, you should be up here. So you being down here puts me on a bit more of an alert to just keep my eye on it. Sometimes I'll even put my stop depending on where it's located. See, now this one here, because of the 200 being up at the top and everything's in order, I feel really good. So I have no worries. This one here, a little bit more alert to what it's going to do, even though it's still pretty much in order. But I will use the 200 sometimes to put my stop slightly above it when it does this stuff, when it starts crossing over the lower time frames as opposed to being at where it belongs in the pecking order. So for that, I find it invaluable, to be honest. So I don't use a lot of stuff, but what I do have on there, they all play a role in how I use my strategy. So,
Question.
uh-huh.
Do you use your RSI in the cryptos or no?
In the cryptos, you know what? I haven't been.
Okay.
I really, because again, once it decides it's going to take off, it's going to take off. I don't think the RSI can keep up to it, even, to be honest with you.
It's lagging.
Yeah. So because it's different, like with the indexes and stuff like that, it's helpful. See, this is already pulled back to the 23. So I'm going to place another one. I'll put one right here. With the indices, it's helpful. So I'm just checking. What I'm doing is I'm just squishing it and I'm checking to see where zones are. And I to determine where I want to put my take profit. Like here is, I don't know if you guys can see this. Like right here is a good strong move.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys have seen me do any of my trading before, you know that I like the tight take profits where it's higher probability of attaining. 71952. 952. Why is it in? Oh, I forgot the 0. Take profit. And I'll put my stop. And these ones, I do put the stop. Again, because they move so quickly that I may not even have a chance to get out if I want to get out. So I know some people like to put it, on top of the previous pivot. I look more at the MMAs, or like in this case, this little guy, maybe I'll just stick them up here. 73060. And that's pretty large. So that's still pretty large, although that's a pretty good, I can change my take profit. What did I do wrong here, Al? I always mess up this thing. Modify order.
Just put your stop loss in there to get the value of the stop. You're talking about to get your position size?
Oh, there we go. Okay, so modify. See, I don't know why I have such a hard time sometimes with doing this. Take profit, my stop loss. So it's market. Okay, I don't know. I've got my sell stop in there. Now I can't change what I need to put in here. And I don't know why that is. Let's do this instead. Modify order. All right, take profit, stop loss. But it's still not letting me modify the order. Why is that? Interesting. I don't know, guys. Just bear with me here for a minute. Sometimes I have an issue with TradingView, and I don't know why. Like, seriously, can anybody tell me how to make this work?
I just like the phrase, sometimes I have an issue.
I do. With TradingView, trying to
what are you trying to do? I'm trying your screen. My screen. I have my TradingView. I'm seeing is very, very small. What are you trying to do? You're trying to do what your order was.
Okay, let's do this.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So is that where I wanted it? Pretty much. Yeah. So let's just put it there. And
again, guys, this is not costing her anything. She's not in the trade.
Exactly. I'm not in the trade at all. So
you do have to watch it though, because you don't want to get caught and lost. But
yeah. So again, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see what I'm doing here.
Why is your stop loss minus? I'm guessing it's minus because it's below price. That's my guess, but I could be wrong on that.
No, this is my sell stop. This is where my order gets in.
She says, why is your stop loss minus?
Oh, this here? Like I don't have my stop loss in yet.
Okay, that's what it is then, probably.
Okay, so and if it is a minus, that because that's what I stand to lose, right? If it is
That would
stop
be the
loss, I'll
distance from where you're at normally,
but it depends on which
direction
okay,
you're going.
minus. This is what I stand to lose.
Correct. If you put your pips in there, it's going to calculate all the other ones for you.
So I wanted my stop loss, but actually, to be honest, I've never really noticed it before. I just put it in where I want it to go, and
just give you stop loss the number that you want to be stopped out at, put that in the
It's your old crap stop number, basically, for you,
exactly.
Eva.
Yeah,
and
that I know. But like I said, I've never looked at this to see why it says minus or otherwise. So it wasn't even in yet. So now that I've got it in, it's not minus anymore, I guess. You know what? I look at this. I look to see where it's positioned on here, and I just look at what I stand to lose and what I stand to win.
That keeps your risk management.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm okay with losing $115 if this doesn't work out for me, but I'm not even in there yet. So, and that's the beauty of the sell stop and the buy stop, is that if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't even take you in. And see, look what it's doing. It's going the opposite way. Did something just happen? Did we have some kind of news right now?
Well, we are 15 minutes away from the
15 minutes
non-farm payroll.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
this is how quickly crypto can just kind of turn around on you and go. So if I would have just jumped into that on the basis that, okay, well, it's coming down and I think it's going to keep on going, well, guess what? It doesn't work out that way.
Now, would you take that order off or would you leave it still?
Right now, I'll still leave it only because it hasn't even gone past the 74 yet. So it could still be doing its pullback for all I know. The only time it'll change for me is if it goes past this and starts going another way. Well, to me, then the momentum has changed.
It's changed.
And these will probably follow suit. But for now, this could still be pulling back. It just could be a major pullback. So I will leave it, but I'll watch it. I mean, obviously, if it keeps going, it's not going to trigger anyway. And I won't leave it there indefinitely. I'll come back and check on it in a few minutes or whatever. And the way I look at it too, is that if it does turn around and trigger, it's because it's going to come down to where I want it to go anyway. That makes sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. There's another question in the Q&A.
Well, good. Thanks. That's what it was. Daniela.
Can you read it to me?
Yeah, it says all good. Thanks. That's what it is.
All right. I thought that was you saying it.
No.
Great, Christine, but I don't know what it says.
Please read that.
This is the Mo, Larry, and Curly group here.
Holy moly, Dumb and Dumber.
You can tell it's getting
Thanks
to be
for
Friday.
that.
Sorry, Al?
I say you can tell it's getting to be a Friday.
Yeah. So anyways, so that's what's going on with this guy. Look, they all kind of did that. And now this is going to come down. So let me see. Is there anything in here worthwhile? Okay, because nothing has closed above that blue line. I can keep my high the way it was. Yeah, see, this is going way past. It's I'm not even going to bother at the moment setting anything. Let's check our Bitcoin. I haven't done anything with Bitcoin yet today. The MMAs weren't in the order
pretzels.
I wanted. They were pretzels, exactly. So I won't even waste my time because I know it's going to take a while for it to sort itself out. So now something happened with the US dollar that all these things are moving massively upwards. But I won't take this. Some people will jump into this, and yeah, you know what? If you're fortunate enough, you can grab a whole pile of pips. Or if you're unfortunate, you can lose a whole pile of pips because there's really no strategy. Oh boy, I have to have my third coffee. There really is no plan when you jump into this, which is the same thing as a falling knife. It's just basically you jumping in. So I won't touch it while it's doing this because I don't know when it's going to turn. And as Al knows, I'm really proficient when it comes to picking tops and bottoms when I don't want to pick tops and bottoms. And it's true. If I was to get in it right now, it would turn around and come the other way. So I'm not doing it.
He then says, don't FOMO.
No FOMO.
No FOMO.
No.
I don't miss losing my trades. That's for sure. There's no fear there.
And for those who don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out.
Yeah. So this one probably XRP has gone past. Oh no, it's still at the 76. So we don't know yet. This guy might come back. Might very well come back. We don't know until it's finished making its move what it's going to do. So, to quote Brian, as long as nothing changes, or the story doesn't change, or the picture does
not change. Don't do anything.
Exactly. So right now, it's okay as far as I'm concerned. So we wait.
And I know I mentioned this last night in our session for basics. I would highly encourage you, and Al and I talked about this too. We've talked about it a number of times. If you're trading demo, use your demo to get used to your platform, not to figure out if you're a good trader or not. I have my feelings on demo. I believe personally, and this is not any sort of advice, obviously, but I believe starting with a small live account is a better representation of your trading than a demo would be. And the reason being is there's that emotional tie to real money. Number one, it's your money. And number two, there's not a broker out there that wants you to fail in demo. Okay. If you know, I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm just saying there's not a broker out there that wants you to be in demo forever, because they need you to put your money to work so they can make their money. They don't make any money off a demo. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist on that. I'm just saying, like, start with a little bit, even if little bitty candy bars for hamburger type mentality until you get stationary. So demo I could play on all day long, and it looks like I win, and I probably do because there's no emotional tie to it. But as soon as I go live, it's inevitable. We talked about this yesterday. Al and I did. As soon as I go live with an account, the very first day I lose money. It's just a given. So always start with a little live. Get yourself emotionally attached to the trades, and then learn to control that emotion.
Yeah, it does. It never seems to fail that you as soon as the first trade of going live with an account, you'd end up losing. You go, what the heck happened?
Yeah. In demo, I made 50 in a row, but as soon as I went live, I lost. And then all of a sudden, in your brain talk to yourself is, I can't do this live. And whatever a man thinketh, he's right.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And that's it.
Most traders, from what I understand, statistically, quit trading right before they become successful.
Right before their breakthrough.
Yep. And so here in Hawkeye, we're trying to teach, whether you're using Gearbox, Variable, or any of the other tools along with your manual trading, give it a good year. Give it a good year, and you're going to see, especially with manual trading and AI trading, you're going to see ebb and flow just like you do the charts. You're going to see that your tracking is going to be up and down just like the charts are. The key is to have smaller pullbacks than strong moves.
You know, when we were in Orlando, Los had a nice little spiel, and he was showing that lots of times he had thought about quitting and throwing in the towel. He literally throw in the towel. He'd throw the towel in and he'd throw it to his best friend, and his best friend would just go and throw it right back to him and says, well, you're not giving up. And that's one of the attitudes we kind of have here in Hawkeye, is that when you're ready to give up, just throw us the towel and we're just going to throw it right back to you and say, don't give up, because we can get you through this.
We've been there.
Because we've been there. We've all been there.
When you take a $2,000 account and pretty much blow it up, we've been there.
Well, it wasn't all that long ago, Al, that I was saying to you. It was just a few short months ago. I was saying to Al, same thing. You know what, Al? Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's not working. It's not working. I'm ready to quit. I've lost money after money after money. And then all of a sudden, a couple months after that, bam, it just all kind of settled in my brain exactly what works for me. And now it's phenomenal. Like, you know, like this strategy, it may not work for everybody. It works for me. And I'd have to say, you know what, 95% of the time.
And it's going to work
Nothing ever
until
will.
it doesn't. And you're smart enough now to know when it doesn't, you'll find another way.
You tweak it. Exactly. You change
Absolutely.
it, suit whatever it is you're doing. So
You don't lose it. You don't lose until you quit.
exactly. And you know what? And I'm no different than you guys. I didn't work at a bank. I didn't do any kind of financial advice to anybody ever. You know, I worked in accounting, but it had nothing to do with this stuff. I dealt in food. So
I deal in more food now.
Oh my gosh, Ron, you are food.
So, you know, we're about 8 minutes from the non-farm payroll report. Let me show you. I mean, we're just going to watch this DAX 30, see how the euro and the dollar, or how the euro affects with this report. So let me go and share my screen here.
Yeah.
And for those who are still in the room, I just posted last night's basic session. It wasn't about just swing. It really dug into the origin of the tools that you're seeing all of us use.
And Brian,
then we talk about it.
sorry, that's
Ma'am?
asking for a passcode when you hit that link.
Okay, let me get the passcode then. That doesn't surprise me.
So what everybody see my charts now?
Yes, Al.
Yeah, this is basically the DAX 30. And basically what I did was I drew, here's the day break. So this is today's price action so far. So basically it opened up the new day overnight, it hit the London session, draws back up from this A, B range, pulled back to the C. Now here's our wedge. Here's our low, here's a high, here's a higher low, lower high, and it draws our wedge. So right now we are right in this wedge area. Now if I take this stick and look at my B to C range, what I'm looking for now is that when it breaks the wedge, I'm looking for this to be my target down here. And if we look at it from an Elliott wave standpoint, we have a high, the C. So actually, here's the zero line. Here's the one. Here's our wave 2. Wave 3, I'm looking at coming right down here, somewhere around this area. May pull back, retest it, and then come on down, which would finally break the. So you may get a little bit of this would be wave 3. If this thing breaks, we could be hitting down to the wave 3, which is longer than wave 0 to 1, and then come back, retest the wedge, retest the screen line, and then fall back down. Now I said we're about 5 minutes away from the non-farm payroll report, about 6 minutes actually right now. So when that report comes out at 8:30, we're going to start seeing what's going to happen with this. And we're just going to watch it. I'm not going to try and trade this thing, but I just want you to see if this non-farm payroll report, how much affects even the German 30, because it's going to affect the US dollar. So, and right now we're looking at the German 30, the euro right now is weak. Now, theoretically, this thing, it may just pop on up, retest this high, and then come on back down. And we're just going to watch this thing and just see what happens during this report. And right now I'm looking at the euro is weak compared to the dollar, which means that the euro, this German 30 should go up at the report. So I'm kind of expecting, I don't know, I'm not going to play either one, but when that report comes out, I would not be surprised to see it come on up, get a head fake, find the trap. Here's the break of the wedge to the D, to the wedge area, come on into that area, maybe even the B area. Wherever it breaks the wedge, comes up, comes into our trap, and then see if it falls back down again. Now that's just a projection. I have no idea for sure what's going to do. That's about the way I'm going to be looking that this may happen. We're just going to be watching this thing. Here's the high. This yellow line here is the pivot high. So we're going to make that and we're just going to watch this thing and see what happens. Right now, the euro compared to the dollar, which is the blue one, the purple is the British pound, and the red is the euro. Right now, the euro is weak, which would all indications would tell me that this thing should go to the upside. But being a report like this, it may just totally give you the false sense. That's why I'm not going to trade this, because I just like watching this and see if we can find some confluence of what it's going to do when these reports come out. But you can see it's been kind of in a little tight. It's been in this little wedge right here ever since the London Open came back in. Right now, we're still looking for it to break the bottom of this little wedge. On the top part, here is the anchor. Here's the first hit. Here's the third hit. So I'm kind of thinking this thing's going to go down, but even though this thing's showing just the opposite. And we're about another 3 minutes away. We'll just watch this thing. Actually, here's the last high. You may take it like this way. And take the wedge, take the stick. If it breaks down, it would be breaking down right to the green fib line.
So we've got the Canadian and the non-farm payroll at the same time.
Yeah, that's
going to be a bit of a whammy.
Yeah, this could be an interesting scenario here.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of trading. You never know what's going to happen.
But you can see that if you look at this, you see the M. Here's the first leg of the M, middle of the M, second shoulder. Here's the left shoulder. Here's the right shoulder of the M, and looking for this thing to come on down. I'm more thinking it's going to come down. Even though this is showing the opposite, I'm still thinking this thing's going to come down. Here's the anchor. Here's the first hit. Here's the third hit of this bottom trend line. So we had 3 hits on the top, 3 points on the bottom. We'll see which way as it's coming to the apex of the triangle. We'll see what happens. If this thing breaks, we'll be looking for it to, if this thing breaks, we'll be looking for it to come down, come back, retest the wedge, and then come on, fall on back. See how it's respecting the wedge. It's all quiet.
Very quiet.
1 more minute.
Uno momento, por favor.
40 seconds.
We got liftoff.
Now you can see that this thing started making this move a minute or so before. That tells me that somebody knows what's going on already. They're already taking their positions. They're already getting themselves in. The report hasn't even come out yet.
Leslie asked a question. It's probably going to be more directed to you guys since I don't do crypto indices. She's asking about a broker. Can LCMFX do cryptos?
No, you want to
No,
use Envy.
probably Envy would be.
I will send Leslie, if you'll send me an email to the email in the chat, I will get that information to you via email later on today.
All right, the report is now out. We just got the report. It just drove it down right to the. Now look at this right here. We have this thing showing that it should be going to the upside with the.
Look
weakness.
at that.
Wow.
And coming up, see if it comes up into our trap and see what it does. See what it does in this area.
What is your red one down there, Al? That's the euro, is it? Your red RSI.
Yeah, your red one's the euro. Yep.
And the
coming up into my trap area.
EuroCAD is going nuts.
Yeah, well, there was also a CAD report at this time too.
It must not be very good.
And you know what? This doesn't really affect crypto at all. Crypto's really not doing a whole lot of anything in relation to what the indices are doing there. It's just kind of slugging along.
Let's see what it does with our trap area. See if it goes up and see if it's going to come up and whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Another whoops moment here.
Another whoops moment.
Mm-hmm.
Take this off here. This is our trap area.
Yeah, it's going to stop me out for a loss on this one for sure.
What are you in, Brian?
The Euro cat, it just took
Euro.
off the complete different direction.
Here's the one that I remember I told you, this is right when we first started. I told you about this bounce right off this red line, looking for the bounce. Let's go back to a 15-minute chart on this.
And you
This
got
is
in
why
this
you don't.
Well, this one, I took it long right here off this bounce, and I got out with my 7 pips. Now we're looking at this German 30.
And you
Look at
took
the
it
wick.
short then, Brian? Is that right?
What was that again?
You took it short? Is that the one where you were
Eurocat,
describing?
Eurocat, I was short, but it's
Okay,
gone.
so Brian,
It almost hit my target as it moved down, and then it bounced right above my target and took off to the upside.
so Al took your money then.
I took your
Pretty
money.
much.
It's a friend of war.
Yeah, I'll get it back.
You wish.
There you go.
Those are fighting words, boys.
And fighting words.
Okay, as you see, we're coming right into our. Look at this. Where the 15-minute, our 15-minute fib line. See how it just bounced right off of that?
Yeah, look at that, eh?
This is you cannot make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
And this is exactly what we were showing last night, that if you go back historically, hundreds of candles back, you will see that these lines play out in some form or fashion. They're not magic. They're
hysterically.
They're not magic.
They're just numbers on a number line is all they are.
Extremely mechanical. They're pre-plotted before the market ever even gets there. They're not lagging. They are always going to be there.
S&P's taken off as well to the upside. Seems like the DAX and the S&P have been following each other quite a bit here lately. Oftentimes, if you look at the DAX and you look at the S&P and the Dow Jones, and you look at the three of them, and you bet on the slow horse in the race. In other words, once the other two start pulling away, the other one's liable to follow, and that's a good way to maybe follow suit. Let the fast horses lead the way.
And for those who are also doing swing trading, and there's nothing wrong with doing multiple styles of trading, if you're doing swing trading as well, we really don't pay attention to non-farm payrolls. At the end of the day, we will evaluate what the picture looks like, and we'll make a determination from there.
Which actually brings another point to mind. It's kind of good to get a couple of different assets that you're trading. For example, non-farm payroll, you don't want to be in the indices or the currency pairs, but you can do crypto or you can do swing. So, that way you can keep trading whenever, depending on what's going on in the news and whatnot.
Eva, you are a genius.
And we're probably gonna dive into some stock stuff as well.
Oh, yay. We love our stocks too, don't we?
I love doing stock stuff. I just don't focus on it much because the platform I'm using, I've got Fidelity. I mean, and again, for me, stock trading is not day trading. I don't day trade stocks. Again, It's going to be more swing, buy it. I don't call it buy and hold anymore because that's false. I call it buy. Most people are buying and hoping. We don't do that. We go in with the right attitude and we get out when the picture changes. So there's no buy and hope. There's no buy and hold. What was that, Al?
Buy, hope, and pray.
Yeah, we're not doing that. It is either going to work for us or it's not.
So here's our upper 25%. Now, basically, what I just drew this fib line. Now, and really, you have your choice of which way you want to draw these fib lines. There's a point of me where I still like drawing from pivot to pivot, and then look and see where these other key zones are in the middle of it. But this way, it still identifies the upper 25% of your zone, lower 25% of your zone. This is what we talked about before. Identify that this is our sideways target. Now we're in the upper part. Now, if it breaks, we're gonna have to readjust it. But right now, I want to see it give it up and come out of that zone, come back in to re-enter, and then start looking at these for our targets. So like I said, this upward move established the target ranges of the middle thirds, this is the 50%, the 61% retracement of, actually it's backwards here a little bit. But this is the upper third, the middle, the halfway point, and the bottom third. And so just looking for it to find its extreme, come back out, retest the extreme, and then start taking it for the target down below. But right now, I would stay out of this thing right now because you're right here in a, you have a little bit of wedge sitting right here. If I expand this out a little bit to the 5-minute chart, let's see if we can find a little better picture of this here. You can see the wedge. So this was the origin from the early, this is the daybreak. This is a new day today. This is Friday. Excuse me. Started out here. Here's a low. There's a high. Here's a higher low. Here's a pretty much of an equal high right there. That's pretty much the flat top of the wedge. You see our wedge right in here. And right now it's ranging. If it breaks to the top, it's probably going up to this yellow line here. That's because that was a previous peak high. And actually, if you look at this, let's see, that's on the other chart. I did that. But this would be a target. If it breaks through this wedge, this BD area, if it breaks through that, I say it's going to be looking to retest. No, I just lost on my line here. It's going to be retesting this line right, which was right about in there. Let's see if I can find the peak of that. This will peak right in there. We have another one. This is the area that was retested. This was the high. This was the retest. This is the supply zone right up in there. Right now, it looks like it's got some movement to the upside, push to the upside. It's still showing the weakness. The euro is still showing a 3 compared to the dollar, and the British pound is right in the middle, right at a 5 level. Dollar is strong. So basically, if I were to be looking at the S&P, I'd be looking at this thing maybe starting to go short on the S&P. But this is our trap area. Came up right up in here. Re-challenge that. Here's our green fib line.
Just so you, as you're drawing this, the Euro CAD could not close above the blue line, and now it's moving downward again.
You go look at this wick right here. This is the Euro back on the Euro CAD now. 15-minute. This is our announcement right here. That had what's the range of that candle? The 15-minute candle range was 39 pips, 40 pips, all within probably a minute.
A minute, yeah. Maybe 2 at most.
Let's see what our two minutes. Here's the so right here was the announcement. I'll put a line right there for the announcement. Here, oh come on.
Your turn.
It is not drawing the line.
There's this was the open of this blue candle right here. That was the opening announcement. It came back down all the way down to here. Oh, come on.
But it could not close above the 15-minute blue line.
But look at this. Basically, this 2 minute from the announcement drove it down, drove it right back up again. This is where people get whipsawed, right up in this area. And you said we said that was like 39 pips, I think we said.
Yeah. 30,
Yeah,
40
about 30,
pips.
39 pips. All within 1 minute. And the thing is, if you were to try and guess, okay, it's going to go long, guess what? It stopped you out. You see, oh, it's going to go long. Whoops, it gets to stop going short. No, it stopped you out. It just took everybody's stops on this whole 1 minute. That's why I say don't trade those things unless you trade it without a stop. But just make sure you have your get out of jail free cards, and they'll set way out of the way of the range. Right now, this thing looks like it wants to come back on down, retesting this strong pullback. Here's where Brian was looking, taking his first position, second position. Do you take your second position up there, Brian?
I got out of it before that. I got out of the whipsaw. I didn't want to be in that whipsaw because I didn't know where it was going to go.
Yeah. See, right now you're looking at we have a 3-2 spread. We have a 3-2 spread. We have a 5-1 spread. 5-1 spread favoring the Canadian dollar strength to the downside. The key is going to be it's going to break this line right here, which is where it bounced the first time earlier this morning. And here's our blue line, and here's our range. This was our range that we drew the Fibonacci's. Blue line to blue line on the 5 minute, which is basically the blue line to the red line, like a green line on the 15-minute chart. Here's our lower 25. So here's basically it came down. It's in the overshoot area of that blue line. This thing could very well go down lower, but let's just wait. We have to wait and see. It's still basically basing inside this little range right here of the overshoot area, which is here to the blue line. And Euro CAD, that should be about let's see, here is 21. There's our 21 pip range. So right now it's trading inside a 21 pip range right now. Once it breaks through here, I'd be looking at coming down another 7 pips, another 7 pips, another 7 pips. Let's go to a 1 minute chart and you'll see those. Put these fibs on. Here's our 5 minute. Here's our next 7 pips right here. There's the 2 minute red, 2 minute green, 2 minute blue. This would be a good target area right down here, about the 1.4734.
Eva, did you say something?
Pardon me. XRP is starting to break down.
Okay.
I'll let you know when it gets close to the trigger.
Bitcoin's up over 40,000 again, so that's a good thing. That means that these cryptos are starting to come off their lows. They're starting to make some between 40 and 66. I think 66, I believe, was the high on that Bitcoin. Pulled back to about 30. Pulled back to about 30,000, I think, somewhere around there.
Which is good. Good that it's going back up.
See, when I drew this out here, I said, drew this out before. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. But see this red line right here? See where I put the C? Look where that did hit. It hit, came back down. Then it took off. It broke through that C area, but it came right on up to the next red line right there. And I'm looking at, if it breaks, I'm looking to come down to this one or this one and this one. These are the 3 target, these be the 3 target zones. If it breaks this range.
Al, can I share for just a moment?
Sure. Yep. Take it away. I'll stop sharing. There you go. Take it away.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dozer.
Hey, you've encouraged me to be a dozer, so that's
I did. I just think it's
dozing
funny.
right over you guys now. Boy, wait till you see the monster you've unleashed. Not just kidding.
I'm okay with that too.
But remember, guys, when this is the one that we're looking at earlier that I set, and it came way up above the 76. And I told you, and I don't consider it a lost cause until it goes past the 1. It came almost right to the 1, and now it's starting to melt down. And we still don't know if it's going to hit, like if it's going to keep on going, because for all I know, it could come down and start going upwards. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to show you that now all the MMAs are pretty much all in the order they need to be. The 5, the 13, the 34. Now my 200 and my 62 are in the wrong order, but that's okay because they're pointing down, and if it's going to keep on coming down, they will adjust themselves before it hits my trigger, which is this one down here, my sell stop. So I just wanted to show you that because, like I said before, sometimes crypto, when it decides it's going to go, it's going to go. So we may have missed that. So I just wanted to point out that, you know what, it can make a comeback. And in this case, it seems to be trying to do that. So that was it. I just wanted to show that.
That's all you have to say about that, huh?
That's all I have to say about that. So back to you, Al.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's it. So back to Al now.
Okay, so let me see. I'm going to look at I noticed that the US yen.
Oh, share your screen now.
Yeah,
Share your screen.
yeah, I will. Let me get it here. So as I'm looking now, I mean, right now we are about 20, almost 20 minutes past the announcement. So I'm seeing that right now. I'm seeing on all 4 charts, I'm looking at the US dollar strong, and on the 30, the 15, and the 5, I'm seeing that the yen is weak. Now this one just popped up a little bit, but I'm looking at the yen weakness on the yen on the 30 and the 15. So I'm going to be looking at that. Makes me to look at the US yen. So come over to the US yen chart. Now I'm looking to see what's the playground. Where was the last previous high? Now we can see that this was a pivot high. This was back on the last Thursday, I guess, last Wednesday. But we had, look at the wick on that. So I like this wick to draw, if I want to draw my Fibonacci's.
Al, can I be a mini dozer for a second?
Sure.
Eden's is saying that take a look at gold. It's melting. So I don't know if you want to wait till you do this or
okay, we can take a look. We can look at gold here.
Okay.
Gold. We'll come back to this one. It's not really quite ready yet anyway. So let's take a look at gold. Take the charts off. Go with a clean chart. Ooh, that's really interesting. Take all those off. Gold is melting. Yes, it is. So if I go to, I'm just going to see what the daily ranges have been with gold. Well, look how flat that's been. Wow, that's kind of weird. Go flat, drop.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't trade gold. I hold gold. I like gold. I have gold, but I don't like to trade gold.
I trade it, but not often, to be honest. I have to stumble across something good on it. So I do check it, but I don't monitor it constantly.
What I find interesting, usually gold is that flight to safety when the dollar is in question. But what I'm seeing now is that gold's tanking, but the cryptos are going strong.
Yeah.
Remember, we talked about that yesterday. The cryptos seem to be becoming more of the hedge.
Yeah, they're more the flight to safety. And the reason for that is here's my assessment on that is that with the different governments that tend to take people's money, especially your governments where they have a lot of dictators and they have control of the people's money, the cryptos are a way for people to get the money out of the local banks in their countries and be able to still use it to trade and to buy merchandise around the world. So it's becoming more and more of a world standard currency of which the governments don't like it, but nonetheless, I think that's really what's happening here. And so cryptos are really pretty much in favor. As I look at this chart with the gold, I look, here's where you can see for the last several days, this is all the way back at the June 29th. So this is the end of June. This was the high in July, and it's made some new highs right up in this area. A lot of times when you get these strong pullbacks, That's these are buying opportunities because look where it's coming into from. So I'm going to draw this my fib range. I'm going to draw from, being that gold is what it is. I'm going to draw my fib range from. I'm going to do it the other way because I want my red zone up to the top. This is your playground right there. This is where, between these two blue, this is where it's going sideways. So it's going sideways. Remember, the move up created these bars. And then these are our targets. You can see how it came into this area, came back out. Now it's breaking all the way through. It's coming down into lower 25%. This is where you want to start thinking about maybe being a buyer of gold, because it hasn't broken this level. They're in the lower 25% of this level since back in June. Here's my lower 25. Here's my upper 25 right up here. Here's my overshoot area up in the top. Here's my overshoot area in the bottom. This is my playground. Now I'm going to go to my 15-minute chart and see where my fibs are lying. Put some fibs on. These are my 15-minute targets. You can see like this move right. Oh, let's see, is that even? Yeah, those are candles, I guess. Yeah, they sure are. You can see how it came right down to this 15-minute green. Is that right? Let me see. Let me double check. That's not a. Yep, those are candles right there. This is significant right here. You see it broke our fib line, the 38% fib line retracement. Now it's coming down to, this is our 50% all the way down. Excuse me, no, I take that here. This is basically coming in almost to our demand zone right here. Just wait for this thing to finish it. Now this is a key point right here. I'm gonna mark that. This is a 15-minute line, 15-minute green. That's a 1775. It's finding a bounce off. It got a bounce off of that. Is that right? Yep. This, and we have a. What's the range on these things? I know they said that I have to learn what the range is on these. That's basically a $22 move. Is that right? $2 move. We can probably go with a little bit higher time spread on this. Being gold. Oh, that's why this is wrong. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. That might be a little better. There's our blue line right here. And you can see we had a little bit of a rally, a little wick over wick area right in that area. That's 15-minute. That's the blue. 15-minute green is up here. And we'll see what it looks like on the lower time frames.
Alan Span's got a question. She's asking, what's the starting candle date for this fib?
The starting candle date for this fib? There is no starting date for this one.
No, I think she means where you started your pivot, where you started doing the fib initially, I believe.
Let me take a look at that here. Let me find that for you. Here's a red. So get this one done and 15-minute red. Okay, so let's go back and see what the answer to that question is. My upper zone was basically, we're looking at this little pivot right up in here. It was retested. Let's see, where did I start this thing? I think I had it on the 1 hour chart. The low starting was at June 29th was the low. And the high reference is at July 15th. I hope that answers your question. We'll spread this out and see. So right now, this is our playground right now. Number 25, lower 25. Coming in, I'd be looking at, I wouldn't be trying to short this thing right now. I'd be looking to see, wait for this thing to come down, maybe hit into this zone, pull back out, start losing some of its downward momentum. That's a pretty sharp candle. Again, this was part of the announcement that we had earlier today. Strong move down. And a lot of times when you get these strong moves down into the zone, that's where it's just driving the price right into it. And that's where you can kind of catch it. Right here would be an area. So let's see what price, I'm on 1 hour. Double check my settings are 15-minute. This one right down here. That's the more recent one that we're looking at. Actually, we have this one. It's kind of ranging in between these two. There's a green to the green. And we still have the strength right now. Gold, let's see how gold's doing with the dollar. Dollar is strong, gold's getting weak. So what do we do with this thing now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
When in doubt, sit on your hands.
Yeah, I would expect so. Right now it's in this little area right here. Nice little wick, strong move down. Here's a little wick over wick. You see? Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. But this little range right in here on this move. This again, this was the announcement. If I blow this up, here's a little strong, small, big red candle with a very little wick. Comes back over, opens up, little wick, strong red candle. This is the wick over wick area that we're looking at right in there. Now I'm gonna draw that out.
And those would be your buyers, right?
This would be your sellers are coming back. Your sellers are still having control.
Yeah, but the wick formation is from the buyers trying to.
Well, in this case, I think it's more of that. There's just a little bit of pause in the down move here. I wouldn't really say that the buyers are even taking. It's just the sellers are taking a little bit of break, take a little bit of a pause, and then they're coming back down. And when you get a move like this, oftentimes you're going to see when I draw this Fibonacci with this, you go strong down. Here's the wick. Pull back. And then this is wick. A lot of times you'll get another move to the 100% retracement all the way down to this area. And here's a blue line right down in there. So I'd be looking at this from this little move down. I would not be surprised to see a target zone right into this area as a target. And then what I'll do oftentimes, I'll split the difference. I'll use this little midpoint and I'll just move the midpoint up to that first line. And that would be my target zone. And that zone is right now, that is at the price wise, it's 1766.81 cents to 1760.95 cents. That's the zone. And here's a blue line right down there. Right now it's at a red. Actually, that's the price right now. Go to my 1 minute chart and see where it's playing right now. Actually, I need to get this thing right there. That's the pullback. And actually, this is where that little pullback was. This is our wick area right in there. Need to adjust this. Yeah, that's about right. And just watch it. So right now, I would not. I would be looking at taking pullbacks all the way down towards it gets down to this area. Here's the first pullback right in here. Here's the origin. Here's the strong move down. There was that wick over wick here we were talking about. This thing didn't even pull back 20. Here's the 23.6% pullback. You can see it. If it would have to go even deeper to get into that area. See over here, there's a 23%. So from this strong move down to the pullback, it would have to have been up in there. And it really didn't do that. But this thing still has some energy to the downside right now. Again, this is my target zone right in here. Move it over here so you can see the end of it on a 1 minute chart. I can take this off. There's our 15-minute chart. Let's go to our, put this back on 5 where it belongs. Put this one back on 15 where it belongs. It's not going to be a straight shot, but it's going to be pretty aggressive, I'm going to say. This is another low pullback. You can see it went through all 3 of these zones. Here's our first zone for the up move. There's a first zone, came down, closed, broke, came up, pass and check. Passed it, came back, checked it, goes down to the next one. Comes down this one, closes, passes it, checks it, comes back down again. Right now we're getting right into our 25% zone, our 20% zone. And I expect it's going to go a little bit deeper, pretty much right into our target area. And that's the gold trade.
Well, Al, we're up against the clock.
I believe we are.
Guys, it has been a pleasure being with you guys this summer. I'll be touching base every so often in the mornings. You just won't be able to hear me in my wonderful, great humor.
I love me, and who do you love?
Just know that there'll always be a song in my mind. And then we'll catch all of you guys. Yeah, and we'll catch everybody that's in the room on the Monday sessions or Saturday sessions somewhere down the line. So I appreciate you guys being involved with us every day, and you're in good hands for sure, especially with Alan, Eva, and Christine. Can't get much better than that. Y'all made summer fun.
Thanks, Brian.
Well,
You too, Brian.
Yeah, as I remember, Brian's going to be doing Monday night sessions at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Brian?
8 o'clock Eastern, and then Saturday mornings at 9, I believe, 9 Eastern.
So once again, thanks everybody for coming in, and we love having you, and we thank you for your participation. It's been fun. All I can say is stay green, and we'll see you Monday.
Y'all make it worth getting up. Guarantee. See you guys.
All right. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.
Yeah, have a great weekend, all. See y'all next week.